Spin control is one of the most important skills in golf, especially when you are at the top levels. Mastering it will help your distance, accuracy, and control, and give you the ability to hit shots just like this. I'll be extra saucy. Ooh, too much. In this video, I'm going to break down spin and how you can use it to take your game to the next level. Spin is something you can use on every shot outside of putting. The basics of applying spin are simple. Start by pressing the left bumper on your controller and you'll see the ball populate in the right side of the screen showing your spin. The left stick, represented by the L on the ball, is simply going to be your loft. As I move this down, you'll see the trajectory go up and we are having a higher lofted shot. It is also increasing the spin, and as I move the left stick up, you'll see that those arrows move a little bit slower. It's a lower shot with less spin. If you use the right stick, this is specifically catered towards spin. So the left stick is more loft, right stick is specifically for spin. However, they work in tandem, so if you put them both all the way up, that's about as low spin shot you can have. Conversely, if you were going all the way to the bottom, that is the max spin shot you can have. And you can do this once again on every single shot type. One thing that's super important that you'll want to note when doing this, if I move my stick all the way down on the left and all the way down on the right, you'll see those forgiveness zones shrink drastically. Yes, you are putting a lot of spin on your shot, but the likelihood of you hitting a perfect swing path and contact become that much harder. So that's the basic controls on how to apply spin. Before we get into when it might be an ideal time to use more or less spin, let's discuss 4 other key variables that will greatly impact the total amount of spin your shot will have. Okay, so the first variable is very simple. It is wind. You're going to want to be mindful of if you're hitting with or against the wind. If you're hitting into the wind, it is actually going to help promote more backspin. You may not see it when you are actually manipulating the ball, but trust me, that ball will reduce the total amount of carry yardage and it will produce more backspin upon when it lands. Conversely, if you're hitting downwind, that ball is going to want to carry forward, and therefore if you're trying to put some backspin on it, it is not going to stop as abruptly. Okay, the next variable is your lie. If you're hitting uphill, kind of like I am set up right now, that is also going to produce more spin. So if you're hitting uphill and into the wind, that's 2 things going for you to increase the total amount of spin. Now, obviously, I am downwind here, so in this particular scenario, it's going to kind of offset a little bit. The third variable is going to be how receptive the green is. For example, if I'm trying to land this beyond the pin and spin it back, I really don't have much area behind this pin. It actually funnels off away from the hole. This is not an ideal green to spin it back on. So if I land it here, it's not going to come back up this shelf. Now, if I was aiming at this pin over here, we have a little backstop to play off of. If I land into this backstop with a little bit of spin, sure, that's going to come back a little bit. Even though I'm downwind, it has that backstop. That receptive green is going to help promote more backspin. So once again, we're looking at wind, we're looking at our lie, and our third thing is how receptive the green is. Number 4 is simply just the ball fitting. In this game, you are able to use a fitting on the ball. If you happen to have that, that's going to slightly increase your spin as well, assuming you're using the spin fitting on your ball. You can use it on any type of ball, and quite frankly, I think there is a glitch right now still, and no matter if it's a +2 or a +15 or 14, whatever it may be, you're going to receive the same amount of additional spin. Can't really quantify it. There's no metrics as far as how much more spin you're going to get, but that is the 4th variable, so you're going to want to have that applied if you're looking to have the maximum amount of spin. So now you know the controls of how to modify spin, and what other variables increase or decrease the amount of spin you're going to have on a given shot. Finally, we have to decide what shot types is adding spin actually worth it. Well, to me, there's probably only a few different shot types, and they're all with your wedges. Starting with your approach shot. For example, here, I do have a slightly uphill lie. I have, if I'm aiming at this pin, I know this is not actually the pin for this hole, but we're going to aim at it just for the fun of it. We're downwind. I have let's do a 60-degree approach shot. We're going to add max spin. Let's try it here. So max spin, we're going to aim at 72 yards or so and see what happens here. It's going to bounce at 73 and have a little backspin and actually stay at about 74 yards. Now let's do the same exact shot. I'm going to declare unplayable. I'm going to aim at 73 yards with my 60 degree. Okay. Approach shot. 73 yards, no spin. Let's see what happens here. .73. Kind of bounces forward and stops at 77. So you can see a little bit of difference there. And if you needed to stop that on a dime, if that was a tight pin location, you could definitely leverage that spin and draw it back towards the hole. Okay, let's do one more approach shot, this one with full spin once again. And let's pretend, for argument's sake, we have a super receptive green and maybe the pin's, somewhere down in this area, okay? For argument's sake, we're going to aim it way up here at 77 yards. And full spin, a little bit of tailwind. Lie isn't really helping or hurting. And we have the ball fitting on. Let's see what happens. See that big grab, and if you get it to come down like a ridge like this, it's going to want to keep trickling, of course. And going back to the same exact position, 60-degree wedge, 77 yards, no spin this time. Let's see the difference. Slight overswing. That one barely moves. Okay, so drastic difference on your approach shot if you have a receptive green. Receptive green might be the most important of those four variables: tailwind, receptive green, lie, and ball fitting. Okay, the second one that's nice to use a little bit of extra spin on is the spinner. So this one natively is going to, let's hit a stock one, uphill lie. Wind isn't really going to affect your spinner at all. Lie will certainly help. And obviously a receptive green. This one, I'm going to hit it up into this top tier here. It's into an upslope, so it won't hurt anything. That's for sure. And we'll probably have a couple bounce and then usually checks up and stops right at that 50 and actually rolled back just a little bit to 49 yards. Let's do the exact same shot. This time we're going to go spinner, 49. As you can see, when you're adding spin, it'll decrease the total carry as well. We'll go back and we'll hit a full one with no spin at 43 just to show you the difference as well. So the total carry is another thing you can use. If you are maybe on a full shot, let's just go for example here, a full approach shot. So your full 52-degree wedge is 116. If you know that your full 52 with full spin is 111, maybe that helps you hit an in-between yardage. So that might be a situation where you're using it for a longer shot. That could be used for much longer clubs too, like a 7-iron is 168 as opposed to, let's see, 173 as opposed to 168. So it changes that carry distance on the longer clubs. Back to the spinner though. Let's hit the full spin, full off, full spin, 43. You can see, I mean, how that rips back. Obviously, I'm hitting into an upslope there. I'm going to do another example for you, though. This time, I'm not going to put that same amount of check on it. So let's go back once more. Spinner, 60 degree, 43 carry instead of what I had it at 49. So I'm trying to hit it to the same spot of that upslope. And it has a little bit of spin, but it's the same as that full distance shot, and it ain't ripping down that slope. So if you ever need to rip one down the slope, the spinner can be very, very effective. And if you have that ball fitting and you're manipulating the spin on top of it, you have an uphill lie like we had here, that is definitely a shot I would recommend adding some spin to. All right, this one, it's marginal if you ever want to add a little bit of spin, but it can help influence your touch around the greens. Now, flops to begin with are going to be very difficult to execute. That's why I have it on perfect swing for this demonstration. This is going to be a flop shot, 25-yard carry, or let's do the 20, let's do one club up. We'll use the 52, 26-yard carry. Lands at 26, goes to about 30, okay? If I want to do the same thing, full loft, full spin on the 26-yard flop. Stops much more on a dime. So if you really, really want to get touchy around the greens, a flop might be worth it. Same with the super flop. It's marginal. I wouldn't necessarily advise it unless you feel very confident in your swing path and contact. All right, the final one we're going to say is a bunker shot. Let's do it. Let's hit a standard splash shot. We're going to aim this, let's say, at 25 yards, and let's see what happens. Lands 21. Has a decent amount of rollout all the way to about 30, 21 to 30. And we aimed at 25 yards. Let's see what happens when we modify our spin. So 60 degree, we're going to aim full loft, full spin at 25 yards. Slight underswing there. Does help you get a little bit more touchy around the greens. It's going to be very marginal. Quite frankly, I'm not even going to use that all too much. You can probably just defer more to the pick shot for bunkers, but that would be the last one. The main ones you're really going to want to focus on are your approach and your spinner shots. Overall in 2K25, unlike its prior iterations, spin isn't as big of a factor, unfortunately. Hopefully that's something that they increase and make it a little bit more pronounced in 27, but that being said, there are certain situations with your short approach shot, with your wedges, and your spinners where you can really capitalize. Make sure you look at those 4 variables and make sure you know how to modify spin. And as long as you're hitting your swing path and contacts, you're going to set yourself up for success. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, maybe comment, any suggestions you may have, and consider subscribing to the channel. We're trying to grow it, and any little bit really helps. Thanks again.